On tonight's episode, we're gonna take a backstage look at what it's like to be a haunt supervisor. Today on Haunt Culture. Everybody in between, I'm back. It's been a while. How you been, Leroy?
Been good, Brittany.
Yeah, I heard you had some special guests on here last couple weeks.
I have, yeah.
Sorry I've been gone for so long. It is haunt season, and we are in full swing.
Yeah, you've completely changed.
I know, yeah. Everything's different. Yeah, haunt really does a number to you, you know. I have some fun behind the scenes kind of footage for you guys today.
Boy.
Yeah, so I took a couple of days last weekend or a couple weekends ago at Scarowinds and was able to get some behind the scenes footage for you guys. Now, if you go on the YouTubes and you go on the internet, you will see tons and tons and tons of influencers, media previews, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping this is just a little bit different since it's coming from somebody that actually works there. But I got some pretty good footage, so I tried my very best. I'm not a vlogger. Please forgive my vlogging skills as we go through this video. I did my very best to try to take you through a day, kind of what we did before work, during work, on my break. I tried to give some timestamps, but it was a very hectic night, the first night that I chose to film. So the clips that you're about to see are spanned over 2 days, of a Friday and a Saturday of operation at Scarowinds. I was able to find some fun footage of the monsters from those nights, as well as some behind the scenes of our Monster Central. So I'll take it over to past Brittany with a little fun introduction here. Hi folks, and welcome to a vlog style haunt culture. You will be following me, Brittany, along today as I take on the on-duty Haunt 1 for tonight at Scarowinds. It is currently about 1:50. I clock in about 10 minutes. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in a night at Scarowinds. I'm gonna try to give you a teensy bit, just a little smidgen of a behind the scenes look at what goes into operating a night at Scarowinds. So I hope you stick around. Hopefully this is a fun new style of video for you guys, and we'll see you soon. Before I go too far into it, Leroy, you used to be a supervisor at Scarowinds too.
That's right.
What was that experience like before we get into the new and now?
Wow, it was an experience. You know, outside of Scarowinds, I was a retails and attraction supervisor at another job. Being a supervisor at Scarowinds, completely different entity altogether. So many different responsibilities, but really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. For anybody that's wondering, I also have a ton of supervisor experience. Most of you know I was a teacher. Scarowinds supervision is a whole nother universe. And it is, you're doing customer service, you're doing security, you're doing first aid, you're doing crowd control, you're doing character development, you're doing mapping out notes and taking notes and doing counts, and depending on where you're working, there's so many things that go into being a haunt supervisor. And if you are a supervisor at another Cedar Fair or another haunt, let us know your experiences, because obviously mine is going to be a little different because it's Scarowinds based. Let's start out from the very beginning of a day. Typically, there are 3 of us that are in charge of haunt this year. Myself, Haley is my boss. We love Haley. Haley's wonderful. This is her 2nd year working haunt. And then we have Reese, who is my co. How you feeling about tonight, Haunt 1? Him and I work side by side. We essentially have the same job duties. He's just over South Carolina and I'm over North Carolina. So the 3 of us clock in every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 2 p.m. For those of you who don't know, Scarowinds opens at 7 p.m. So we are there bright and early, ready to get the day started. So 2 o'clock we come in. We usually head down to our office, which is across the park. Naturally, it's not anywhere near where we come in as employees. We pick up our radios and we print out the check-in sheet. I was able to get a little bit of footage of what our check-in process looks like. So my friend Faith is gonna tell us a little bit about what the check-in process looks like.
Bloopers.
Hi, welcome to Scarowinds Check-In. Who are you?
Faith.
Hi, Faith.
And or Benjamin.
Or Benjamin. What do you do here, Faith?
I'm in charge of the chainsaws, and then I'm checking people in with Erica.
I'm definitely not playing Monopoly Go right now.
What does our check-in process usually look like here at Scarowinds?
Sean has our paper.
Hi, Sean. Wow.
We highlight their name, we check their clocking time, and then they get a makeup card.
This is also Monster Central. This is where the monsters hang out. They go get makeup done up here. I'll show you that a little bit later, but these are some of our awesome supervisors.
That's me.
And Erica playing Monopoly Go.
That's 971 rolls.
Here's our check-in
Driving.
sheet. Look at you. So that's our check-in process. It's pretty simple. The monsters clock in, they come to the check-in table where they meet some of our lovely supervisors. We mark them to make sure that they are accounted for. They get their lovely costume card like Faith showed, and then they head up to costuming and makeup to get their costume and makeup done. Here's a couple clips of what our costuming setup looks like at Scarowinds. Hi.
We're paying our car taxes.
Oh, I love that. These are some of our great costumers. Hi.
Hello?
This is our costume area. It's for my roommate's YouTube channel.
Oh, hi.
Yes. So this is some of our costumes. Thank you. They look great. Wow, intriguing. I'm such a good videographer. There's the word I'm looking for. I'm so good at this whole vlogging thing. We have about 3 costumers that work with us every night to help check people in, grab their costumes, and then the monsters will go get dressed and then they will wait to get their makeup done. And I know Leroy has tons of clips of what some of people getting their makeup done looks like. I was not able to get any clips during my weekend. Maybe he'll insert a clip here, I don't know.
Probably from 2017.
Yeah! 2017, what a good year. What a good year. Now, what's really cool about Carowinds and what I think sets us apart from other haunts and other theme park haunts is that we also have shows that get makeup done as well. If you've been living under a rock, you might not know this, but if you've been on the internet in the past month, you know Carowinds is doing a parade!
Hey!
Yay! Carowinds is doing a parade, and we have parade performers that have to get their makeup done every day before the parade kicks off. Now, you're probably thinking, Brittany, how does that work? So glad you asked. We figure it out as we go. Honestly, we figure it out as we go. So the park opens at 7 o'clock. The parade kicks off at 7:30. Now, depending on if it's a Friday or a Saturday, if it's a Saturday, we do have a 3:30 parade that kicks off where people have to completely change their costume and makeup before they get into the Scarowinds parade stuff. But if it's a Friday, that parade doesn't operate, so it's a lot smoother, at least on our makeup artists. What I will say is our monsters start coming in at 3 o'clock. The earliest that our monsters can clock in is 3 o'clock. So we have about 15 to 20 monsters come in every 15 minutes to keep the makeup line from getting backed up, because come 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, that's when all of our performers start to come and get their makeup done for parade. We have a wonderful team of makeup artists, and we have 2 awesome hairstylists that do hair and wig applications. Our lovely friend, Julie's one of our awesome makeup artists. There's a lot of other really awesomely talented people there who do some really fantastic and amazing makeup for our season. So monsters go, they get their costume, they get their makeup done, and then they just chill out. Supervisors, for us, they are checking their mazes, they are checking their zones, they're making sure that maintenance checklists and all of that kind of good stuff is signed off on, because they can't operate unless they're signed off by maintenance. Safety first, folks. You don't want a haunt that's crumbling on you. Our supervisors are running around, filling up water coolers, catching up on monster counts, working on breaks, doing all of that boring business stuff. Come 5:30, it's the next clip I have, I believe. Come 5:30 every day, we have our super exciting supervisor meeting. It's the most exciting part of my night, Leroy. It's pretty boring.
Oh.
These are some of our super awesome supervisors. This is Haley. Haley's my boss.
Hey.
We're doing a little day in the life as a haunt supervisor.
So cute.
Yeah. Here's Sanquan. Sanquan, how do you feel about our 5 o'clock meetings that we have every day?
Oh, I love them. Get all the great information.
Thanks. Everybody say hi. We're saying hi to Leroy's vlog. Sometimes we talk about like reminders for monsters. If we have an event coming up, like we host the Girl Scouts a lot at Scarowinds. We have a lot of them come and visit our operation sometimes. That's a time for the supervisors to just sit down and get reminders. Talk about expected numbers for the night, how many monsters we're expecting, what it's looking like as far as like parade, who we have to send to parade and who we get to send to the mazes and the zones and all of that crazy stuff. But it's really the first time oh gosh, how many supervisors do we have this year? Hold on, let me do math really quick. 17, I believe. I believe we have 17 this year, not counting Reese, Haley, and myself. That's our first time to sit down and talk to each other and kind of check in on how everybody's doing. At our supervisor meeting, we assign 3 supervisors to lead our warm-ups. I unfortunately didn't get any footage of our warm-ups, but they're pretty standard. They're pretty normal, do vocal and physical warm-ups. We have this little hill that we all stand on, and all of the monsters gather around, and all of the monsters in the makeup line do their warm-ups together, and it's a nice time for us to like lay our eyes on all of our monsters that we have for the night, give them a little pep talk, get them nice and warmed up, and then every night before we leave, we announce Monster of the Night. So we usually do Terror Team of the Night. We have switched over to naming a Monster of the Night. So we look at all of our different monsters, and we look at the scares that they've gotten. We look at if they're a returner, if they're new, if they're a maze, a zone, how they identify, all of that kind of stuff. And then me, Reese, and Haley sit down and we name a Monster of the Night. It's a beautiful little pin. It's so cute. It says Terror Team, and they get to wear that all night so that guests can see that they were the Monster of the Night for the previous evening.
Aww.
Yeah, it's really cool. Shout out to May, who was one of our Monsters of the Night, who broke her pin within 5 minutes of having it. That's okay.
Monster life.
I know, that's okay. We gave her another one. That's something really fun that we like to do for all of our monsters, to keep morale high and make sure that our monsters in our zones know that they're doing a good job. Starting this weekend, we are actually implementing a Terror Team of the Weekend. So instead of Terror Team of the Night, we're moving into Terror Team of the Weekend so that our mazes and zones can see as a team who is excelling, who excelled that previous weekend, and get people hyped in hopes of earning Maze, Zone, or Terror Team of the Year. After our warm-ups and after our little pep talk, my good friend Erica has kind of tokened the coin, empty your bladders, fill your water bottles, because there's nothing worse than going out to your maze and realizing you have to pee, or that your water bottle is empty. Right at 6:35 every single night, all of our supervisors will gather their monsters and they will make the trek to their location. All right, it is 6:47. I'm currently walking through Ripper Alley right before we open. This is the calm before the storm, folks. That means everybody is in their spots and ready to go by the time the opening ceremonies begin at 7 p.m. And then darkness ensues and the spookiness happens. I was able to find some really cool clips of some monsters in our scare zones.
Hello, dog. Welcome.
Monsters are killing it. I don't know about you guys at other parks, but Scarowinds, we are top notch this year. Every night we have something that is called Haunt 1. This is our departmental on duty. They call them ODs. So like you have a merch OD, you have like a admissions OD, an entertainment OD. Haunt has their very own specific Haunt 1. There's a lot of things that go into being Haunt 1. We used to call it 3101. But now they've kind of transferred it into just Haunt 1. It's a little bit easier for people to remember. Haunt 1 is kind of in charge of everything. In the next upcoming clip, you will see that I have forgotten to film because I was Haunt 1 this particular night. And it was 9:30, 10 o'clock before I was able to sit down and take my first break of the night because we do so much. Haunt 1 responds to all of the radio calls. They are listening to all of the, if monsters are going to first aid, if there's any security concerns, if somebody needs to go to the bathroom, Haunt 1 is usually the one that will show up. And they're also communicating with other departments in the park. It gets pretty crazy. So usually Reese, Haley, and myself try to take our breaks around like 8. So we try to take our breaks around 6:37, 8 o'clock, just depending on how things are looking when operational starts. One of my favorite things about being a haunt supervisor is being able to meet some crazy, kooky, and incredible people. There are quite an... Sorry, our neighbor's dog is like going ham right now. You meet some really cool and interesting characters and people when you work in the haunt industry. And I've worked in retail, I've worked in customer service, I've worked in education, I've worked in theater, and you really don't meet the type of people in haunt anywhere else. I love our monsters. They're all wonderful, kooky, crazy people, and they all take their job very seriously, and that's what I love about it. My night as Haunt 1 was very hectic. It was very crazy. So fast forward, the night has ended, 12 o'clock strikes, the queen comes over and says that Scarowinds is over, and the park is finally empty. Well, not empty, but it's starting to empty out. The monsters are called from their duty. They call it 10-7 when their attraction is closed. All of the supervisors will call and let us know that their attraction is closed for the night. The mazes will clear out their queue line, let everybody through that was waiting in line prior to midnight, and the zones will pull their monsters. We do cleaning duties. Yep, that's another thing. We are maids. We change trash cans, we vacuum green rooms. If you've ever worked in theme park, you know how disgusting theme park trash cans are. And then after everything is clean, they start the treacherous journey back to Monster Central. We used to do nightly meetings. We still do nightly meetings every day. But here's the catch, Leroy. We're doing them in Monster Central now so that it's not taking 30,000 years for people to come back to Monster Central at the end of the night. So it used to be we would have meetings in our break spaces and it never failed. There was always one supervisor that would just talk. And they would not get back to Monster Central till close to 1 a.m. So now we're like, we're going to have our meetings in Monster Central so you can see all of the other people leaving and kind of put a little pep in your step. After their nightly meeting, the supervisors will acknowledge Monster of the Night for their maze. They'll hand out what's called kill bills. We have a couple kill bills hanging here on our wall. The incentives that we give our monsters for a job well done. They fill out their nightly reports, write down their numbers if they're in a maze, and then they send their monsters on their way. They demonster, wipe off half of their makeup, and 90% of them do go to cookout after the night is over. I was never a cookout monster. I'm more of a Waffle House monster myself. For those of us supervisors, our night is not over. We have 11 attractions, so there's a lot of attractions, so that's 11 different nightly reports. As Haunt 1, you take all 11 of those reports and you put them into one giant report.
Ew.
Not only are you sitting around waiting for all of these supervisors to turn in their nightly report, then you have to type out everything that's on those reports into your own little report to send off. The night is over. It is, what time is it? It is 1:53 a.m. Reese just turned the light off on me.
I did it.
It's time to go home.
I did it!
What a night. So they're a long day. If you want to do the math there, I clocked in at 2 p.m. Friday night, I didn't leave till almost 3 a.m. So over a 12-hour shift. We work very long hours, and it's not for the faint of heart. We write up the report. It's usually me or Haley will write up the Haunt 1 report. while Reese is going through the Google form of all of the kill bills to make sure all of our monsters have their kill bills accounted for so that they can purchase fun things in our kill bill store. Hopefully we have a golf cart at the end of the night, otherwise we're walking that 1.5 miles to get from the front of the park back to the employee parking lot. And then we go home and do it all over again the next day. So it's a long day. My sleep schedule is wrecked. Don't ask me to wake up before 1 p.m. any day. I love every minute of it, and it's so fun to get to watch monsters succeed, to watch the guests. So one of my favorite things to do as a supervisor is we get to walk through the attractions. Now, it's not always for fun. Unfortunately, we're not always looking to get scares. But sometimes we do get to see some really fun and exciting scares. And one of my favorites was recently I was walking through Paranormal. And if you know anything about that maze, the first room is a big show scene. And then a giant demon, not a giant demon, but a demon flies above everybody's head on like a tightrope. And I was in there like watching the show scene happening. And then the little apparition shows up and she says, "You're all going to die." And then she busts through the window. And these like 6 girls in front of me just fell over on the ground. And like this poor girl looks like a turtle. Like she's rolling around on the floor, like can't get up. And of course there's demons that flood into the room to push people out into the next room. And she's like, like won't get up. And I'm like, I love this. So it's really interesting because not only are we doing behind the scenes stuff with paperwork and following legal obligations and breaks and all of that kind of stuff, but we also get to go and see the awesome stuff that our monsters are doing in these mazes. You're gonna have to come out, Leroy, because it's pretty darn good this year.
All right.
I hate to toot my own horn, but Scarowinds really is putting on a good show this year. And our live entertainment's pretty cool. Our shows, gorgeous. Our main stage show, I am their biggest fan. So that's what it's like. Life, night, as a Scarowinds supervisor.
Wow.
A lot goes into it. A lot happens. If you are a supervisor at any haunt, leave us a comment. We'd love to talk to you and see what it's like to run your haunt.
Absolutely.
And maybe one day we'll hear, we've heard a couple of Leroy's stories from when he was a supervisor. Maybe one day we'll sit down and chat about monstering versus supervising. They are 2 different Venn diagrams with very little overlap.
Talk about our time supervising vampires.
Oh yeah, we'll have to bring some of our vampires on and share some stories one day.
Ooh, I like your thinking.
We hope you guys have liked this video.
Yes, thank you, Brittany, for getting the video for us and explaining what it's like in a haunt manager's life at Scarowinds.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for sticking around. We hope to see you next time. And don't forget,
Keep it spooky! Subscribe and hit that bell notification so you don't miss another haunt culture.